So Nigeria democracy, I can say it has achieved remarkable progress because this is the first time we are doing 27 years stretch without military interruption. And it will grow bigger. It will grow bigger with more actors given the space to express themselves, to contribute to national development.
The reactions show a clear divide, with June 12 serving both as a reminder of democratic ideals and a benchmark against which the present political system continues to be judged. Brother Johnny, Vop TV News.
Meanwhile, reactions in Abuja to President Tinubu's 3 years in office remain divided, reflecting both optimism about long-term reforms and concerns over current economic hardships. Our correspondent Maimuna Salihu spoke with residents across the Federal Capital Territory and now reports.
Bring you that report in our subsequent bulletin. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has cautioned against linking criminal activity to any religion or ethnic group, warning that such narratives could deepen divisions and undermine efforts to address insecurity. The Council issued the warning in a Democracy Day message signed by its Public Affairs Officer, Abbas Jimo, on behalf of its President General and Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Said Abubakar. It said that while insecurity remains a major challenge, criminality should not be given ethnic or religious coloration. The NSCIA highlighted ongoing threats from banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and other violent crimes, which it said continue to claim lives, displace communities, and hinder development. It also rejected attempts to associate Nigerian Muslims with banditry and kidnapping, describing such profiling as unfair and unrepresentative of the Muslim majority. The council referenced the recent kidnapping incident in the Orire local government area of Oyo State, saying later development had disproved efforts to link the case to Islam, Muslims, or Sharia.
Now, the House of Representatives has approved the State Police Bill, a major step toward decentralizing Nigeria's policing system. The bill received overwhelming support during plenary, with so many voting in favor. The House dedicated Thursday's sitting to considering the proposal amid growing concerns over insecurity across the country. Proceedings witnessed a brief objection when a lawmaker from Kaduna State, Bashir Suberu, argued that members had insufficient time to review the committee report on the bill. Before voting, Speaker Abbas informed lawmakers that the electronic voting system was unavailable and that voting will be based on attendance records. Of the 290 members present, 289 voted in support of the bill, while one voted against it. The Speaker did not participate in the vote.
A Bayelsa State lawmaker, Fred Agbedi, has been named minority leader of the House of Representatives. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas announced the appointment at the start of plenary. Also appointed was Sokoto lawmaker Abdulsamad Dasuki as deputy minority leader, while Bauchi State Representative Mansour Manusoro emerged as minority chief whip. Agbedi is a member of the People's Democratic Party. Dasuki represents the African Democratic Congress, while Soro belongs to the Allied People's Movement. The appointments bring to an end weeks of consultations and lobbying among opposition lawmakers over the composition of the House minority leadership.
Now, the Senate has called on security agencies to track and arrest bandits and terrorists who flaunt their activities on social media platforms, particularly TikTok. The resolution followed a motion on the growing attacks by bandits and terrorists in Kogi West and other parts of the country. During the debate, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Adwanga urged the Nigeria Police Force, National Cybercrime Center, and other security agencies to monitor and apprehend criminals who use social media to publicize their activities. She said bandits and terrorists have become increasingly bold, openly displaying their operations and process of crime online. The senator questioned why security agencies had not fully exploited the digital footprints left by such individuals to track and arrest them. The proposal received support from lawmakers, including Senator Osita Ngo. Senate President Godswill Akpabio also backed the resolution, describing the public display of criminal activities on social media as a direct challenge to state authority.
Still on happenings in the Senate. The Senate has distanced itself from comments by Senator Adams Oshomole, describing the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited as a bunch of criminals and thieves, saying the remarks do not represent the position of the Red Chamber. The Senate also clarified that no committee has the authority to issue or execute a warrant of arrest without approval of the Senate President and in line with the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act. Resolutions followed a motion moved by Senate Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele during plenary. The clarification comes a day after the Senate Committee on Public Accounts reportedly recommended a warrant of arrest against former NNPCL Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari for failing to honor its invitations. Bamidele warned that any committee acting independently in such matters could be exercising powers unlawfully. Several senators supported the motion, stressing the need to protect the integrity and impartiality of the Senate. Former Kebbi State Governor Adamu Aliero described Oshomole's comments as reckless, while Senator Oji Uzokalo urged him to withdraw the remarks. Responding, Oshomole said his comments were made in defense of lawmakers and were not intended to bring the Senate into disrepute.
Well, turning to other stories, the Federal High Court in Abuja has sentenced 5 suspects to 25 years in prison each for their role in the November 21, 2025 attack on St. Mary's Catholic Church, school, I beg your pardon, Papiri, Niger State. Justice Binta Yako handed down the sentence after the defendants, including 2 Nigerians, pleaded guilty to 4 terrorism-related charges filed by the Department of State Services. The charges include support for acts of terrorism under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 and violations of the Firearms Act. The suspects were arrested at different locations on May 31, 2026 by DSS operatives. About 50 students reportedly escaped during the attack, while more than 250 were marched into the Kainji Lake Reserve Forest by the gunmen.
The chairman and CEO of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabirerewa, says the first batch of 262 Nigerians evacuated from South Africa following xenophobic attacks have received support from government agencies and the private sector. Speaking in a television interview, she said the returnees were received at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and with various forms of assistance. Dabirerewa noted that Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma donated 1 million naira each to indigents of the state among the returnees. She added that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, provided transport support, while a real estate firm offered financial assistance. According to her, the National Identity Management Commission also assisted with identity documentation. Dabirerewa urged other governors to support their indigents and said that the federal government will continue engaging returnees to assess their skills and provide further assistance. She added that the second batch is expected to return on Monday, June 15, as over 1,000 Nigerians have registered for voluntary return.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze these stories is Frank Ayala. Frank is a banker and a public affairs analyst. Frank, it's such a pleasure to have you join us. Welcome.
Good evening.
It's so good.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, and how are you?
Yeah, very well.
All right, it's good to have you. So the federal government has declared Friday a public holiday to mark this year's Democracy Day. The announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. Now, while this is happening, one of the senior advocates of Nigeria, Femi Falana, as well as CSOs, are planning to stage a huge protest same day, talking about the 12th of June. Now, they are saying that Nigerians have not enjoyed the dividends of democracy. This is like an oxymoron. I don't know. What do you make of this whole thing? June 12th in Nigeria, 2026.
I think, in my own opinion, Nigeria have been on public holidays since Tinubu become president. My reason is one. In all our villages in Nigeria today, nobody can go to the farm. So they are home. So they are on holiday. Schools are beginning to get shut down. Where are the children? They are on holiday. People can no longer travel to go and do their business in any of the cities. Where are they? They are home. They are on holiday. So we have been on holiday since for the past 3 years of this Tinubu administration. So I think I will appreciate that they do the protest tomorrow. People like me will join them. Because we have not enjoyed democracy. Are we in democracy? I was on a side discussion with somebody today, looking at the affair of the nation. We term it Tinubu crazy. Because the kind of government Tinubu is operating has never existed in the whole part of the world. This is the only country in the world today, where children, people that went to school as of 28 days ago, they are still inside the hand of the captive and they are in the forest, and government are campaigning. My sister, do you see what happened with the video today? That you have to wear the shirt of those people that were kidnapped, and their name were printing on the shirt. So it's so embarrassing that we have been on a public holiday since Tinubu become president. So as we speak today, we are not in democracy. It's Tinubu that is implementing whatever he wants. Why do I say this? If you look at the electoral act that was sent into law by Tinubu within 2 hours, what are those documents? It's a fraud on the Nigerian people. That document can never exist in any part of the world. So we are not a democracy. But then again, this is what Tinubu has given to Nigeria. So we have been on holiday. They don't need to declare public holiday. People are home. People cannot do anything. Go to villages. In Nakoko Edo, schools were shut down yesterday. Children cannot write their exam. Imagine children are writing their exam. The DSS and militaries are carrying gun, parading their corridor. How will those children pass their exam? This is what they brought us to. So we have been on holiday. So Studio Ojo don't need to declare public holiday. People are already at home. They are on holiday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your response there. While we were speaking, you mentioned the security issue in Nigeria and how, some persons or some children and, of course, their teachers are still, in the custody of the bandits or the terrorists. And, of course, that's referring to the Orire. So, of course, there's also the Borno. There are other many cases. But let's look at this. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, they've cautioned against linking criminal activity to any religion or ethnic group. I'm sure that you remember recently there was a report that linked, that said over a number of Fulanis, were linked to this criminal activity. And here the Islamic Society is saying that this is not very good. And they're saying that such narratives could deepen divisions and undermine efforts, to address insecurity. And when you look at this, do you really think that this council really are on the right path? Are they really saying the right things? Or are they not doing enough? Or would you say that they are not doing enough when it comes to actually ensuring that, yes, this narrative is out there, but ensuring that this narrative is actually not what is showcased or what we see every time in our country? Because really, what we get to see is bandit terrorists. They get to use them, the Quran. They get to use the Sharia and all of that. But here we see a council saying, no, don't say it is a religion or a particular ethnicity that is involved in this.
I think I want to agree with the Islamic clerics to a very large extent. Why? The people that kidnap Adelabu sisters and their two teens, are they Fulani? Evans, the popular celebrated kidnapper that was sentenced to life imprisonment, is he a Fulani person? Those guys that are kidnapping in Ekoma in Edo State, are they Fulani? Those guys that are kidnapping in Delta, are they Fulani? So those people that are pushing that narrative and deceiving the government not to pay attention to details. The issue of God is not about Fulani, it's not about Islamic religion. It's about the people in Nigeria that are dishonest, people that are not patriotic, people that have seen, that have taken advantage of the government insincerity, people that have taken advantage of the people, okay, the government are taking their own, the government officials are looting their own. Let us also take our from whoever want to take. So it's not a religion thing. It's about the bad people who want to create a narrative to create civil war or want to create a religion crisis. So, just as I have said, people that are kidnapping in other parts of the Nigerian people, are they Fulani? Fine, you might say the Fulani and the Islamic people have, the bad Islamic, some of the Islamic boys have bad agenda. You also agree with me that when this guy from Kwara State, former APC chieftain, is it Baraje, I've forgotten his full name now, when he was doing the 70 years birthday, I remember he said that because of our attempt for APC to win the election from Jonathan, they brought in 60,000 militia from other countries. He mentioned Senegal, he mentioned Chad and some other countries. I'm quoting as alleged. Are they Nigerian Fulani? Are they Islamic? So it's not about a religion thing. It's about people that are criminal in nature. If you watch about your kidnapping, like the people they say they have arrested, they are not Fulani, that they want to give you those Fulani information. So we shouldn't make it an ethnic coloration so that we want to deal with the issues on ground. That's not to say that there are also not religious affiliations in it. Because if you look at where this nonsense started from, it started from the northeast. And what was their emblem and their logo was Boko Haram, that is Western education is. And if you want that doctrine, look at the way they are taking over children. They are taking children from schools now. Schools are beginning to shut down. That's why when you listen to Bamidele to say, if you are not careful, education will be an issue in Nigeria because schools are being shut down. Children are going to be losing 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. Like those 39 children that were kidnapped in Oyo. I'm sure by His grace, if they are released, they will never want to go to anything near school again. So those are the dangers that the government needs to see that to do their job. So it's not about a religion thing. It's about criminality that has come to invade our country. Thank you.
Very well said, Frank. And now, analysts like yourself have said that one of the ways to nip insecurity in the bud is the creation of state police in Nigeria. Now, take a listen to what the House of Representatives has just said, that it has approved the state police bill, a major step towards decentralizing Nigeria's policing system, and of course, a major step towards ending insecurity in the country. Are these your sentiments, or do you think this will do the magic, the creation of state police?
It will never do the magic. Reason being that, as we speak, almost every state has individual, they have vigilante. Like the Southwest, they have a Moteco. If you listen to Makinde, say Lagos did not support a Moteco. They were not contributing their own funding part because somebody in Bodilon did not believe in a Moteco. Every state has its own internal vigilante. What they need, what I think we need as a nation. First of all, let's look at what is giving rise to insecurity. Is your pressure from the government officials. City Boy movement, for instance, we're giving $32 billion naira to play around and create a narrative to say the government has started a reform that we are not seeing. What everybody that is a government official, look at their lifestyle. So that alone is intimidating people to say, okay, we are Nigerians. This is also belongs to us. So if we cannot get our from the government sector, we get our. So issue of state police will not solve the problem. Rather, we empower the political people because the government is going to supervise the recruitment of the people into that state police. Who are they going to recruit? Their party members. Their thugs that are already working for them. So if that happens, there's going to be intimidation. So what do we need to do? Number one is to stop the corruption on the government circle. And this government is using about the corruption at the government circle. Recently, it was on the news that 800 billion were deducted from our subsidies gone service to push and campaign for a particular candidate. How would that not result to insecurity on the street? So what we need to do is not about state police. And again, the way the constitution is amended, this law will be passed by Senate. It's going to be harmonized by House of Reps. After that, we send it to the 36 states. The 36 states, you must get back positive response for 24 out of the 36. And I can bet you can't get that 24. That's why if you listen to Shetima, when it was one program with the governor yesterday, you did it yesterday, begging there to go and send a memo to ask state police. State police is good for people that are not corrupt like Nigerians. For a government official that are not corrupt, that are not there to take advantage of it. Imagine a governor one that go with almost 20 to 30 police officers. So when now have a state police, they can deploy 200 to themselves. And it is the taxpayers money that will need to maintain that line. And then again, what we also perceive is it's a political move for this state government to say we have started it, vote for us to also complete the process. It's a lie. They are not going to do anything. They will jettison that program after they win, if at all they win. Because it is never in the agenda for them to do it. If you want to do state police, this is your third year in power. What happened for the first 6 months? What happened for the first 1 year? Is it now that you are going? If they send that bill to the 36 states, I'm too sure in the next 2 years, some states have not even responded. So, for me, it's just an exercise in futility. It's an academic exercise that it's not more invoked. So, they are just deceiving themselves to say they are ready to work. What have they been? This 10th assembly since June 4, 2023. What have they been doing? The strength, the hours, the speed they use them they take to enhance that fraudulent electoral bill is enough for them to have started. So for me, it's just Tinubu is trying to be smart. It's trying to be smarter by this bill go nowhere. It's not in favor of Nigerians.
Well, let's wait and see how far the National Assembly will go with this state police bill. That's the much we can take on this analysis. Thank you very much, Frank, for being a part of the news hour.
Thank you very much. Do enjoy the rest of the day.
And you too. We've been speaking with Frank Ayala. He is a banker and a public affairs analyst. We now move on to Zamfara State, where the police command has rescued 5 travelers abducted by suspected bandits along the Anka-Bukuyum Road. The command spokesperson, DSP Yazid Abubakar, said the rescue followed a swift response by operatives of the Anti-Violent Crime Response Unit. According to him, the bandits had barricaded the road and kidnapped the travelers before police operatives pursued them into the bush. He said the suspects engaged the operatives in a gun battle but fled into the forest with suspected gunshot wounds after facing superior firepower. Abubakar confirmed that all 5 victims were rescued and harmed during the operation. The police spokesperson reaffirmed the command's commitment to tackling crime and urged residents to continue to provide timely and credible information to security agencies.
Now, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Joash Amupito, has assured Ekiti residents that the June 20 governorship election will be credible. Speaking in Ado Ekiti at a stakeholders meeting, Amupito said INEC is logistically, technologically, and operationally prepared to deliver a transparent poll. He noted that over 1 million registered voters are expected to participate across 16 local government areas, 117 wards, and 2,445 polling units. He also said the commission is working with the EFCC and ICPC to curb vote buying. According to him, all polling unit results will be uploaded to the INEC result viewing portal to ensure transparency. The meeting was attended by political parties, candidates, civil society groups, observers, and the media, as well as INEC officials.
And now to the foreign scene. Donald Trump says he has called off planned strikes on Iran. Trump says the decision came after talks reached Iran's top leadership and received approval. He says the US, Israel, and Saudi Arabia all signed off on the discussions and final terms. Iran has not responded to Trump's latest remarks. Earlier, Tehran warned Washington of an endless quagmire if it launched an attack.
Meanwhile, a drone strike on a funeral procession in the Sudanese city of El Obeid has killed at least 4 people and wounded several others. Rights groups, the Sudan Doctors Network, and emergency lawyers say the paramilitary rapid support forces carried out the attack. Emergency lawyers says the strike was part of a wave of drone attacks since Wednesday evening that have killed at least 23 people. El Obeid is controlled by Sudan's army and remains a key battleground in the country's civil war. The conflict began 3 years ago after a power struggle between army leaders and the RSF.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, says El Nino conditions are now present in the tropical Pacific. Sea surface temperatures have risen sharply in recent months and are now more than 0.5 degrees Celsius above average, the threshold for an El Nino event. Forecasters say this El Nino could become a super El Nino, potentially among the strongest on record. Scientists warn it could contribute to another record hot year, most likely in 2027, while disrupting weather patterns, food supplies, and economies worldwide. The announcement comes months after the end of La Nina, El Nino's cooler counterpart.
Well, in business news, President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to building a stronger, investment-driven economy through collaboration with state governments. The president's message was delivered by the Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, Zara Audu, at a reform workshop in Oka, Anambra State. Audu said Nigeria's economic growth depends on coordinated reforms across all levels of government. According to her, the Tinubu administration is implementing reforms aimed at attracting investment, improving competitiveness, and creating opportunities for citizens. She identified regulatory efficiency, policy consistency, infrastructure, and ease of doing business as key drivers of investment. Also speaking, Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo, represented by Secretary to the State Government Chiamaka Unaki, reaffirmed the state's commitment to maintaining a business-friendly environment and strengthening investor confidence.
The Lagos state government says its expanded tourism strategies are aimed at creating jobs, supporting small businesses, and strengthening the state's creative economy. The advisor to the governor on tourism, art, and culture, Idris Aregbe, made this known during a ministerial press briefing in Lagos. He said the state is intensifying efforts to grow its tourism and creative sectors as part of a broader plan to drive economic growth and enterprise development. According to him, the government is implementing targeted initiatives designed to boost employment opportunities and expand business activities across the state. He stressed that Lagos is positioning tourism as a key economic driver rather than merely a recreational activity.
Sports news now. South Africa currently facing off with co-host Mexico in the 2026 FIFA World Cup opener at Mexico City Stadium. Bafana are taking on L3 at the Azteca with more than 80,000 fans in the stands. This is South Africa's first World Cup appearance since hosting in 2010. The match is a rematch of the 2010 opener in Johannesburg, which ended 1-1. South Africa coach Hugo Broos says his squad spent 10 days acclimatizing to Mexico City's altitude ahead of the challenge. Mexico enter as Group A favorites and are unbeaten in their last 8 games. The Azteca is making history as the first stadium to host matches at 3 different men's World Cups. Both teams are in Group A with South Korea and Czech Republic. And as it stands, we hear that Mexico is leading 2-1 against South Africa.
And now, still talking sports, world champions Argentina have retained the #1 sport in the latest FIFA rankings ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Albiceleste remain top of the standings, with Spain and France occupying second and third positions, respectively. England and Portugal complete the top five, while Brazil sits sixth. Nigeria retained 26th place in the latest rankings, following mixed results in recent international matches. Morocco remains Africa's highest-ranked team, holding seventh position globally and maintaining a strong presence among the world's elites.
We understand that it is 2-0, Mexico versus South Africa. While in entertainment now, Nigerian actress and media personality Bamike Olawumi, popularly known as Bam Bam, has reported the loss of her phone at the service of songs held for late actor Alex Ekubo in Lagos. Bam Bam disclosed this in an Instagram post alleging that the phone was stolen from her bag during the event. Actress Susan Peters also claimed that her iPhone 16 Pro Max went missing at the gathering. Reacting to the incident, actor Stan Nze lamented the reported thefts, revealing that more than 5 phones were allegedly stolen during the event. He expressed concerns that such incidents could occur at a gathering where friends, family, and colleagues had assembled to mourn the late actor. The service of songs attracted several dignitaries, Nollywood stars, and social media personalities ahead of Alex Ekubo's burial next week.
A federal high court in Ikoyi, Lagos, has dismissed a criminal case linked to the alleged sale of Burna Boy's early music catalog. The court criticized the police for what it described as a negligent approach to handling a dispute that primarily concerns intellectual property and corporate interest. The case arose from the sale of Burna Boy's early catalog by Aristocrat Music to Spaceship Music, the company owned by the artist and his madam manager, Bose Ogulu. 960 Music Group, which holds a 40% stake in Aristocrat Music, challenged the transaction, alleging it was excluded from the deal. The catalog includes Burna Boy's early projects, including LFI, Life, and Redemption. Following the sale, 960 Music Group sought to nullify the transaction, while the dispute later resulted in criminal charges against Aristocrat Records founder Pirie Isokari. The Force Criminal Investigation Department had accused Isokari of diverting proceeds from the sale, denying the company its share of the revenue.
Well, it's a wrap on news. Thank you so much for watching. I am Vivian Uguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Bye for now.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on Vop TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing Vop TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. Vop TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People television, Vop TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space.
Vop TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning. I am Moses Humphrey. I'm definitely not alone. We have a complete squad here this morning. And of course, we'll be looking at the issues going on in Nigeria. And our analysts will help us make sense of it all as we progress on the program. But very quickly, let's, you'll like to meet my colleagues, of course.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jane Ogoye.
And I'm Chukwuma Okoro. Good to have you join us.
All right. Good to have you join us indeed. Now let's run to the papers. We do have, yes, I have the Vanguard newspaper in front of me. And these are the headlines, very few headlines actually. Terrorists kill vice principal, 2 others in Kogi. Edo shuts schools. The riders to that story, 3 students abducted, community. Police intensify manhunt for fleeing terrorists. Attackers came in army uniform. State government. Pandemonium in Mina as parents withdraw children from schools over fears of terrorist invasion. Northern, Southern, Middle Belt leaders call for security emergency. It's horrible what's going on in Nigeria. Labour joins forces with Benga Hashim as democratic renewal movement takes off. Court orders unconditional release of detained Okwama leaders. And then on xenophobia, 268 Nigerians arrived from South Africa today. That's part of the over 1,000 that are billed to be brought back to the country. And then there's this advertorial there that speaks to some renewed hope project that the president is doing. This is day 3 of it, and that one has the picture of the president and that of the minister of the FCT. All right, there you have it. Those are headlines from the Vanguard newspaper.
Let's move over to the Daily Independent. Nigeria's economic recovery at risk as fresh headwinds loom. Tinubu assures FCT will reflect Nigeria's population, growth, and identity. Senate seeks increase in Federal High Court appeal court judges. Edo begins recruitment of 5,400 security corps, 500 forest guards. Insecurity, reps vote on state police bill today. And also, Ugo Chinyere, first-time reps blocked from principal offices. Northern elders, Atiku ask Tinubu to declare security emergency. Those are the lead stories from the Daily Independent.
And quickly from the New Telegraph newspaper, PMS, 724 billion naira worth of product imported as marketers intensify competition. CBN survey, insecurity, multiple taxes, top challenges for business. The window headlines. Senate orders carries arrest over alleged 210 trillion naira NNPCL Limited's discrepancy. Moves to expand judiciary as caseloads overwhelm courts. Minority leadership, reps definition of legislative experience ends Ugo Chinyere's bid. Middle East crisis, Trump says US will hit Iran hard again. Islamic State fires on countries in region. Now the big story. Supreme Court verdict. PDP can't present candidates for 2027 elections. Sage, that's coming from Issa Sage. And the Riders says judgment puts aspirant ambitions in jeopardy. Party can't contest election. Dead.
All right.
Alleges Apex Court created disorder in political system. And a few more stories from the New Telegraph. APC primaries, senators, reps having BP over results at Babio. 3 killed as security officials for mass abductions of Kogi WASC candidates. And that's it from the New Telegraph newspaper.
All right, and there's something on health there as well that speaks to a study that tells you that sugar is harmful to your health. But anyway, let's move away from all of that conversation. We'll go deeper into the headlines at 10 o'clock when we get into newspaper review. But in the meantime, a nationwide protest has been scheduled for June 12th, which is tomorrow, Friday, against worsening national insecurity, severe economic hardship, and a sharp drop in living standards across the Federation. Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has partnered with 16 civil society organizations to lead the mass mobilization. Well, the coalition comprises trade unions, youth groups, social movements, and faith-based organizations. Well, according to the organizers, widespread administrative failures leave ordinary citizens with nothing to celebrate on the Democracy Day anniversary. A joint statement signed by Falana in his capacity as national chairman of the Alliance on Surviving COVID-19 and Beyond, ASCAP, alongside Hassan Taiwo Soweto of the Lagos State #EndBad Governance Movement, and Yinka Folari, national president of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, expressed deep concern over the expansion of insecurity in the country. Oh well. Tomorrow is the day, and we do have with us in the studio Dele Fanimo, who is a reporter and a public affairs commentator, and Mazi Amobi Ihegbero, also a public affairs commentator. We'll be going to Port Harcourt in the course of it, our outstation in Port Harcourt, where Olalekon Ige will join the conversation, and also visit our Benin outstation, where we have Kelvin Ejimudo. Well, he will also be joining the conversation. Kelvin is Special Assistant to Delta State Governor on Human Rights, National Secretary, Human Rights Protection Congress, and well, he's a comrade. Well, we'll all be delving into this. But let's start off with our guest in the studio now. Let me come to you, Mazi Amobi. So, Nigerians have been calling for involvement from, elders, those that have been there, those that have ran protests before, those that were part of the June 12th protest in Lagos. And Mr. Falana has stepped up with, a combination of other civil society organizations, leading this process. We've had protests before now. We've had #EndBadGovernance protest. We've had hunger protest in 2024, and they all just, lasted maybe 1, 2, 3 days and fizzled out. You think this will make any difference?
Thank you very much. I like the fact that some veterans in the business of protest have been co-opted to join this protest. The protest is long overdue, considering the existential condition of Nigerians. And in recent past, protest has not been well articulated, result-oriented, and what have you. I think the present circumstance offers an opportunity for this protest to achieve results. I wouldn't want a situation where, this protest will be, by 12 noon, it will fizzle out. Probably because of lack of coordination or the coercive nature of the state that will make it impossible for them to achieve their results. And the Nigerian government also has a responsibility to respond to the protest, because we are supposed to be practicing democracy, where if protesters come to the government house or the parliament or wherever, there should be a top-ranking member of the administration that will come out and take their protests, make statements that will really suit the nerves of Nigeria. But what we see in recent times is impunity. People that just allow them to protest and all that. That is not, too good. And we do not know the time a protest will begin to go beyond bounds. So that is why the government should take preemptive measures to address protesters, as at the time they are protesting. If you ask me the merit of this protest, I think it is meritorious. And then the other angle I want to look at it is from the positive aspect of the protest. Protest is meant to address a specific problem of the society. Ditto, like in now, the economic circumstances of Nigerians are nothing to write home about. Insecurity has taken a very front row in the scheme of things in Nigeria. So it behoves on the government to address some of these issues, confront some of these issues, and then give Nigerians some respite. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
I do not want a situation where the protesters will be tear gassed and all that and all that, and everything will go haywire.
Good. Mazi, talking about the merit and the value of protest, well, what do you think that, this protest is going to solve? Because you said that, well, it should be coordinated and planned very well. We understand that when protests are planned and coordinated, we also see a situation where there is infiltration from the government. And before you know it, there's a protest against the protest, even before the protest happens. And so government begins to say, well, we understand that some people are trying to protest to embarrass the government, and so there's infiltration. But during the protest against the protest, we don't see infiltration. And again, historically, you discover that planned protests have never yielded results. Protests that yield results are instantaneous, unplanned. And so in all of this, what could be the value of this protest? You have given government information that there will be protests on June 12th, so they're going to come out. They will also infiltrate the ranks of the protesters and all of that. So at the end of the day, what will be the value of the planned protest?
If we are in a society where the government is for the people, planned protest is it. But if we are in a society where the government is anti-people, then it becomes difficult for these protests to yield results. I want to believe that this government should pride themselves as being for the people, so that they will take on some of these issues that the protesters might bring forward and then begin to address them. What may not be, likely is that the government will always take a stand, just like you said, trying to have an opposition to the protest, thereby making the aims and objectives of the protesters not to be realized. It is a protest too many. We have seen protests from the NLC and what have you, which at the middle of the whole thing fizzles out. It becomes very important for Nigerians to protest and protest rightly. If it takes 3-4 days to protest and results are achieved, that's okay. But the situation where government should also be very, very careful, Mr. Okoro, because you do not know. People are angry. You do not know what you do, then you heighten the consciousness of people. Those who may not originally be for the protest can equally join. And this is the bottom line is the existential condition of Nigerians, which can trigger off a lot of resentment about the government. If you ask me specifically what this government have done or achieved on a scale of 10, I will give them 2. And 2 is not, a record to be proud of. They are not a record to be proud of. Anyways, so it behoves the government to take these things very seriously. Protests are anchored on specific issues, and they should be able to have answers, not planning to disrupt the protesters.
All right. Dele, do you think that Nigerians have gotten to that point where we are indeed really angry and can, take radical, moves, beyond the protest to demand for better? Do you think we've gotten to that point?
You see, before coming to your question, I want to address 1 or 2 issues. The first issue being the fact that it's a shame on this generation to always fall back on those who are aging, those who are aged, those who sacrifice their useful and youthful life for the betterment of Nigeria. How will you be calling Falana that is over 70? How will you be calling Srinika that is over 90? Why? They have done their part. We should have a new generation of activists that should step into those shoes. But unfortunately, our values are different from the values of these people. And those days in the universities, which we all attended, you are already made an activist while in school. You study Marxism, Leninism, and all that. Yeah. You know the leftists and the rightists you know the bourgeoisies, you know the proletariat while in school. Because even lecturers are polarized along those lines. Yes. And you have a rich history from where you can decide to pick a mentor among these people. But today, it is a different ballgame in our various campuses. Those who are the laws of the manu in the campuses are cultists, Yahoo boys, and all the rest. So where are you going to get a replacement for these people that are aging? It's not.
I think you just painted a very grim picture, because it means that from 20, 30 years, maybe even lesser from now, we may not have a generation that can maybe
really
lead
stand
and
out.
galvanize. So what can we really do at this point? Because you, and rightly said, you highlighted a lot of points, including the eroding values. And it doesn't seem as though it's going to get better anytime soon. So how can we begin to rechannel the thought processes of these youth so that, they begin to be nationalistic?
It has to do with catching them young. Those days in the schools, even at secondary school, you begin to see some touch of, people call it deviance, but activism in some of our mates in secondary school. They will say, no, we cannot take this, And those people are the ones that are nurtured to universities and outside of universities. If you look at the trajectory of the Femi Falana we were talking about, Chima Ubani, the likes of Ransomberg Okuti, some of them are from average, well-to-do families.
but they decided that they needed to sacrifice for a better Nigeria. So how would you, somebody who does not have a picture of what Nigeria should be, somebody who does not have a picture of where we are coming from, somebody who doesn't have the picture of our historical background in this country, today, call a 35-year-old, he doesn't know anything about MQ Abiola as recent as June 12 is. Yeah. If you call them out tomorrow now, they will say, we are only on holiday. You see them playing football. They don't even understand all of this.
Okay, so, sorry, Dele, before you address the main question, which Jen asked,
yes, I had wanted to come to the question.
Before you get to that question.
So that he doesn't forget.
So that I don't forget. Let me ask you. You see, I think some of the problems Nigerians have with that generation, that campaigned against Jonathan in 2011, 2012, it's that they think that somehow they could be in bed with this administration, or that they have sympathies with this administration. And not just calling them out to come to the street and protest, but to lend their voices, against what they see as insecurity, economic decline. Somebody like Enoch Adeboye, he wasn't an activist. He wasn't an activist. He wasn't protesting. But he used the pulpit several times, to criticize Jonathan, call him, to take charge of insecurity and all of that, and economic decline. But now Nigerians are saying, looks like, no, we are not asking him to come to the street to protest, but he's kept mute. And instead of holding the president responsible, he's now holding the service chiefs responsible. That is the complaint of Nigerians. I do agree with you, and a lot of Nigerians agree with you that, look, you don't expect that generation to come to the streets.
Continue.
But then they should also, from wherever they are, lend their voices to the fact that, well, things are not moving right for Nigeria.
You see, let me tell you something. When the likes of Wole Soyinka veered off into activism, they had mentors. And they took it right there. Imagine a civilian without guns, without anything, walking into a national radio station, or at that time there was no private, there was no private radio station. Walking into that place. He's a civilian, even if he has a gun, but he was a civilian.
All right. But let's not encourage that.
But, yes, but he was never in the military. The whole idea about coup is always the military men taking over Radio Nigeria and announcing a coup. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to wait for these people. The youth should take charge of their lives. Because anybody that is above 60 today is already on the last lap of the race. So, whatever you make of it, it doesn't really impact much on the future of the country. But somebody in his 20s, in his 30s, in his 40s, these are people that should take up the gauntlet and say, look, enough is enough. There is this guy, I think he's from Edo State, this Peter of a guy. Yeah. Look at that guy. He is strident.
Oh, he's from Cross River State.
Oh, is it from Cross River? I don't even know where he is from, but I used to think he's from Edo State.
Peter from Nigeria.
Yes.
He's from Ogoja in Cross River.
You understand? Look at that guy. Can't we have a replica of that guy in like 20 places, 30 places, coalescing to do this kind of protest? It makes a lot of sense. Then all you need to do is to go back and consult these Wole Soyinkas, the Femi Falanas, and the rest of them, and say, sir, we want to do this tomorrow. How best can we do it? You shouldn't be calling them out at this time. They are tired. It's just like a footballer. At a point, you will be tired. Your legs will be tired. And you now become a coach and begin to direct players. That should be the job. That should be the lot of these people. Now, coming to your question, can you just...
I said, are we really tired? And Nigerians gotten to that point where we can rise up and really revolt? Have we gotten to that point?
You see, we are not tired. We are not tired. The problem which had been so manifest in this administration, that has always been the pattern in the years past. The problem is we are divided along religious lines, ethnic lines. Those fault lines will not make us come together. Today, anybody that is identified as an Igbo man on the streets of Lagos, they no longer see him as protesting for good governance. They see him as an Igbo man attacking Yoruba. Now, anybody that is Yoruba, that is part of this protest, their friends and associates, after the protest, they will say, you are a bastard. If you are not a bastard, how can you? This is our turn. You know, and as long as those things are there, there's no longer one Nigeria except we want to deceive ourselves. There is no way people can vent their anger
in unity.
And that is the major problem we have about protest in this country.
Okay, Mazi, but you know that typically in this under this administration, protest hasn't really brought about good results. What do you think is the best way? I mean, some of these pressure groups, opposition perhaps, or civil rights activists can force this administration to do the right thing?
Yeah, first, at the level of conception of the idea of protest, you know, symbolizes failure of government. Because if government were doing what they're supposed to do, you don't take up a protest. Protest is not the best way to, you know, govern a country. But be that as it may, it is where we are now. You know, that for you to do anything, for you to compel government to, you know, act in a particular way, you have to protest. But unfortunately, these protests have not yielded the desired result. I said that earlier in my opening remark. But to be able to you know, ensure that protest yields essential result, protest has to be sustained. And how do you sustain protest? Because part of it is intimidation by government.
Yeah.
You know, part of it is government reeling out a parallel protesters that will not, you know, neutralize the effect of the protest, the real protesters and what have you. In developed societies, you know, like what happened during the NSAS. NSAS, to my mind, in recent times, is the longest protest we have ever had because it was sustained. People volunteered.
But how is it sustained without funds?
That's what I'm saying. There must be people in the society that can sustain the protest. You can't protest on an empty stomach. During the NSAS, you saw people bringing in, you know, food items to sustain the protest. That is what we need at this point in time. Because if you go out to protest by 8 a.m., by 3, 4 p.m., you're fizzled out.
You'll be hungry.
So that is why I said planned protest. All issues must be on the table. You also have plan Bs and what have you. So that if plan A fails, you resort to plan B. Protest is a very big business. It's not for the rat tax. It's not for
what
people.
Would you want to hear differently from the government? Because the government has always said, look, be patient with us.
That is not. Let's take the issue of electronic transmission of results. If we were very positive in that protest, Nigerians could have achieved results. What is there to occupy the National Assembly, which is in the Nigerian House? You can do that, and within 48 hours, you must have a change. There are things that require 24 hours, 48 hours to achieve. There are also long-term issues that needs a gestation period to achieve and all that. So those ones that can achieve within a record time, you achieve them. And then while government gives you milestones on how to achieve the longer-term objectives, it can be achieved.
But do you also think, I mean, if you want to go by the how NSAS protest played out, you know, at a point it became a concert of some sort. Do you think a prolonged protest is what we need, or do you think it can work in Nigeria at this time?
It can work. It depends on
prolonged protest,
it depends on the
shutdown.
It depends on the determination of Nigerians to achieve that particular.
Shutdown.
Yes. No. Yeah. Why not?
In Nigeria,
we are trying to achieve an aim.
Okay.
There is any protest have end goals. What do you want to achieve? In their protest letter, it will be encapsulated there that this is what we want to achieve and all that, and probably timelines to be given. And if there are ones, like I said, that requires to be achieved in short time, it will be achieved. It is the resolve of the people that matters in this thing. And the government also is also wary because any slip can, you know, trigger off a lot of things that the government cannot even handle. So what I'm saying in effect is that both sides needs to be circumspect in trying to understand the dynamics of protest.
Thank you very much, Mazi Amobi Iheburu. I guess we'll move on to the next conversation now. Senate orders arrest of former NNPCL CEO, Miliki Yari. Let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpehon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
Welcome to Romeo Pizza. Sink your teeth into our freshly baked pizzas. Loaded with rich sauce, melted cheese, and irresistible toppings. Where every bite is a love story. Treat yourself to our creamy, dreamy ice cream. Smooth, sweet, and made to brighten your day. Or maybe you want it hot and satisfying. Our juicy shawarma is wrapped to perfection, packed with flavor in every mouthful. Pizza, ice cream, shawarma. Why choose one when you can have it all? Romeo Pizza has exactly what your taste buds desire.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing Vop TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. Vop TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, Vop TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Yes, obviously everybody knows the game is beautiful and that's why I love sports. My name is Kizzy K, you're welcome to my republic. But remember, there can never be a transfer without a window. Just like there can never be a deep thinking without a Pep Guardiola in football. You can't say tennis without talking about Djokovic. So why not give me attention on the show so I can run your race on the TV like Lewis Hamilton Formula 1 star. Don't forget, when God have mercy on you, you can achieve your goals like Cristiano Ronaldo. I am a proud Nigerian, and right here, we talk NFF. For every sports update, commentaries, live interviews on the game, we got you on this, because right here at Voice of the People TV, the Sports Public Show has got everything just for you to be part of it. I love the beautiful game, and that's why Kizzy K loves sports.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues. on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on Vop TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome back. The Nigerian Senate has issued a warrant of arrest against the former Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Mole Yakiari. At the center of the controversy are audit observations forwarded to the Senate Public Accounts Committee from the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation, which lawmakers say contain unresolved financial entries and discrepancies valued at over 210 trillion naira. The committee, chaired by Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dakwabo, resolved to invoke its constitutional powers over repeated invitations issued to Yakiari were allegedly ignored. The motion received overwhelming support from the committee members, but not before triggering one of the most dramatic moments of the hearing. Backing the proposal, former Edo State Governor and Senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshiomhole, added that Parliament risked diminishing its own authority if it failed to enforce compliance with its summon. Let's take a look at the video. We have in the studio Mazi Amobi and Dele Fanimo. Dele, let's come to you. We're talking about trillions here. The figure is staggering and it's really shocking. Well, not shocking, but really staggering. How can it is shocking. We're talking about trillions. I mean, under this administration, we've seen one of the some of the most outrageous financial impropriety. This is the NNPCL, an organization saddled with the responsibility of petroleum and all of that. So, how has this happened? And do you think that the Senate summoning Yakiari will, make any difference because he's still on the run?
I want to see this as a circus show that will get nowhere. This man sat atop an NNPC, a behemoth, for close to 10 years without a single audit. For the 8 years of Buhari, there was no single audit carried out. 90 Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative did press conferences on the need to beam searchlight on this corporation, but it fell on deaf ears. It is doubly staggering because the late President Buhari was once petroleum minister in his military days. And 2.8 billion naira, which is much more than the 210 trillion naira we are talking about today, got missing. As at the time 2.8 billion naira was missing in NNPC then, a brand new Pojo was sold for less than 5,000 naira. So now you can imagine, if you are going to sell that car today, you'll be talking about 20, 30 million naira. So you can now multiply, do the arithmetic, that for you to know that what we are talking about, maybe it would have been zillion naira today, if there was anything like that. Now, nothing happened. The probe was told that Fela in his days how to sing about it. 30 years later, this man happened on us as civilian president. And there was a carry over of that regime to the extent that this man, as civilian president, now became higher in rank by becoming the president at the same time holding the portfolio of petroleum ministry. And he superintended over that ministry for 8 years without audit. Now, who are we to hold? As soon as this government came, they were trying to look into the books, and this man said he was resigning. Rationality dictates that if you are sitting atop a place that several people, civil society organizations, had complained that this place needed to be audited, because it's the cash cow of this country, for God's sake. Why would you allow that person? Why would you accept his resignation in the first place? You allowed his resignation in the midst of turmoil. The man escaped out of the country. 2 years down the line, you are now saying you want to invoke legislative powers. Is it to begin to start his extradition or what? Somebody who is probably in far away Saudi Arabia or wherever, where you don't even have any diplomatic relationship to enable you extradite him back to Nigeria. And you are now saying all this. It's just for the optics.
It's for the optics.
It's just for the optics.
All right.
210 trillion. Though the fact is, it is not actually that staggering amount that is missing. You understand? But that is not to close our eyes to the malfeasance that would have occurred within those years. But the point is, let us know the ones that were judiciously spent in terms of overhead, in terms of logistics, in terms of bogus turnaround maintenance and all that. And then let us know how much had been kept in private pockets, in private foreign accounts, so that we can retrieve our money. But unfortunately, the prime suspect in this, he has been allowed to leave the country. So who are you going to hold responsible? Is it the current man that is there that you are going to hold for the sin of those people? And most of the directors under this man would probably have fled. So how are you going to get to the root of this matter?
Sorry, Jen. Now, when you say that it is not the whole 210 trillion naira that is missing, it gets more confusing. Because from records available, they say after discrepancies, they discovered that they couldn't account for 210 trillion naira. So by implication, what they are saying is that they cannot find 210 trillion, which means 210 trillion naira is missing.
Well, for me, I am not saying there is no infraction, and I've not looked at the books. But what I'm saying is, if this man had been in the country today, he should have explained to us where this 210 trillion naira will be located. You understand? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Some of them may have been used for spurious trips. I know that.
No, what they're saying is that after using, when they got into the audit, after income and expenditure and all of that, they discovered that a certain 210 trillion
cannot be accounted for. And then, unfortunately, that money may be gone forever.
So Maz, let's have your reaction.
Yeah. At the incipient stage of this present administration, efforts were made to, in quote, clean up the mess of the previous 8 years. That made Emefiele to get into very big trouble. And the story of Emefiele is, is a different, it's not what we're going to discuss here. At that point in time, people were talking about an NPCL. What is going on? It took the government a while to talk about the government. Well, they were prevaricating on Kare, as it were. It took them some time to ask Kare to leave and all that. What I'm saying in effect is that I can bet my soul that nothing will come out of this order. Who will bring him? Are we going to do the rendition from wherever he is and all that? You know, so it is just like Dele said, for the optics. They failed to do what they need to do at that appropriate point in time. So to me, it amounts to closing the stable after the horses must have voted away. So I do not have confidence in the committee that says Kere should do this and do that. It will not work. This is Nigeria. It will not work. What they are doing now, they should have done 2.5 months ago.
So in other words, it's messing after death.
Yes, that is what I think.
All right.
It will not yield anything.
Okay. Let's.
And more importantly, at this point in time, we should ensure that the presidents cannot be ministers for petroleum resources.
All right.
That we must insist in this country, because a lot of things hides under the canopy of the president being a minister, and then you cannot talk, you cannot probe deeper. So a situation where the president continuously become the minister of petroleum is anti-productive. It's not economical, because you cannot launch very serious probe on your principal. That is what it is now. So in the next dispensation, these are the small things the National Assembly should, arm themselves with. Make small resolutions or small constitutional reform that makes it illegitimate for the president to become the minister of petroleum resources.
All right, thank you, Mazi. Let's move over to our Port Harcourt studios. We have Mr. Olaleko Ige. Good morning. Can you hear us? Good morning, Mr. Ige. Good morning. Okay.
Yeah, good morning.
I'm sure you've been following the conversation, and a lot of the analysts here in the studio have said that this is coming too late and that it is just one of the many summons that never bring about any positive results. Let's have your view on this, please.
Well, I think I support them partly. However, I would say it's better late than never. It's the money that belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. And I'm sure the activities of the National Assembly will highlight, whether rightly or wrongly, all the things that went on there during the tenure of Mele Kyari. I think it's a good step in the right direction. The Economic, Financial and Crimes Commission can take over from here. Even the ICPC too can also take over from the investigations of the National Assembly, so that we can truly know what went on. He who alleges must prove. So let's assume that these are allegations against Mele Kyari. Wherever he is in any part of the world, he can be summoned to come back home. Whether we have an extradition treaty or not, we can always summon Mele Kyari to come back home and answer to the allegations against him.
All right. For the longest time, the president of Nigeria has remained the Minister of Petroleum. I don't know if this is constitutional. What's your view on this?
Well, there is nothing in the constitution that stops the president from being the minister in charge of any of the ministries. There is nothing in the constitution that stops the president. However, remember too that the president is not above the law. If you're a former president, you are not above the law. You no longer enjoy the immunity, that was conferred on you by being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, in this case, Mele Kyari was a NNPC GMD under late President Muhammadu Buhari. Is late at the moment, so we can no longer summon him to come and answer for some of the things that Mele Kyari might say, look, it was the former president that ordered him to do this, the late president ordered him to do this and all of that. But the good thing about financial records is that they will always have a trail. There will be a trail of who got what, how much was paid for what, under what circumstances, when there are documents signed by the late president to back up whatever expenditures that were made, during that tenure. These are some of the things that the investigations will reveal.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Ige. I'm happy that you brought in an entirely new perspective, maybe fresh perspective into this conversation, saying that, well, unfortunately, the man at the center of the drama, who was the president then and the Minister of Petroleum, Muhammadu Buhari, is no more. God rest his soul. Now, who should take responsibility for all of this? This thing happened, the 210 trillion naira got missing between 2017 and 2023 under Buhari's watch. And when did Buhari die? Buhari died last year. 2025. And so for 2 years, nobody called him to come and answer to a certain missing money under his ministry and all of that. And so who should actually take responsibility? Because if you call Mele Kyari now, Mele Kyari will say, well, the president, then the president, then the president, then. Just like Emefiele. When you asked Emefiele said, well, the president approved. The president was alive that time, and we couldn't even hear from him whether he approved or not. So in all of this, at the end of the day, who should take responsibility for this? Should it be Mele Kyari? Should it be Muhammad Buhari, who is led, by the way? Or should it be the present administration under whose watch this scam, so to say, was discovered? Who should take responsibility?
That this is the figure being bandied by the National Assembly. We are not in the position to know whether truly 210 million is missing or not. It's just an allegation. That's why Mele Kyari must now come forward. The National Assembly says, look, they are relying on what auditors have done. They've audited the books of NNPC, and this is how much they think is missing. If Mele Kyari comes forward to defend and look at what the auditors have done, we may eventually discover the money may even be more or may even be less. If, on the other
unfortunately, we seem to be...
And Mele Kyari says, look... hello?
I can hear you, sir. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes, so if Mele Kyari claims that late President Muhammadu Buhari gave him approvals to make certain expenditure, I'm sure the approval will not be by the word of mouth. It will be in black and white.
Okay.
Did you make a request to the president? Who approved it? What did the approval say? There'll be trail of records as to what emanated, what led to what expenditure, and all of that. Were contracts awarded? If contracts were awarded, was it advertised? Who bidded for it? Or is it that some of the contracts that were awarded were such that there were no local contractors to be able to such contract, and you have to go outside of the public procurement law, to order. There'll be a trail.
Okay, there will be a trail. Thank you very much, Mr. Olele Koige. We'll like for you to step back because we'll come back to it in the course of the program. In the meantime, let's run to Delta State, where we've been joined virtually by Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu. Comrade Ejumudu is, by the way, special advisor to the governor of Delta State, Sheri Oborowe. Good morning to you, Comrade, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me. Good morning, guests, and good morning, viewers.
Beautiful. I'm sure you have followed this conversation. Now, the National Assembly is saying, well, we have issued an arrest order for former GMD, Group Managing Director of the NNPCL, to come and account for a certain 210 trillion naira, which is alleged to be missing from the books of the NNPCL following an audit. In the meantime, this man in question is not in Nigeria. So what is the value of this order? How do you see all of this coming out or panning out at the end of it all?
Thank you very much. It's such a pity that one of the most black populous nations in the world, we lack a high level of accountability and supervision. You see, why is the National Assembly waking up now? Were they not aware that probably before this very time, they've been complaining that money is missing for the NNPC coffers? Was he not in the same NNPC also during the Goodluck Jonathan era that the CBN governor at that time, Lamido Sanusi, said they've not remitted billions of naira by the NNPC? Was not the same NNPC also we saw Kyari leveraging on, they're telling them to go and construct roads? I've not seen what NNPC we're not going to road constructions or road maintenance because they were looking for all possible ways to divert funds and to siphon money. And this also shows how docile the EFCC also they've been, and also the National Assembly. Why wait till this long a time to carry out an audit. While he was in office, at every financial year, you should do your audit. Give me your balance sheet. The Accountant General also need to be arrested. The Accountant General of Federation needs to be arrested as well. Because you see, in governance, one man cannot steal from public offers. It must come between a league of selected persons, those who are signatories, those who are members of the board of trustees, and also some members of the board of directors. And also through the bank. Where's the EFCC, where's the ICPC? To unravel these mysteries. It's painful that even what we go about borrowing is what we even have as a country to cater for our development strides that we're craving for in this country. But every time people steal money and they work freely. And I keep wondering, what's the job of EFCC and ICPC? The National Assembly, why wait for 8 years to audit one individual, a director of NNPC? It shows that we have a long walk to freedom, as he said.
Long walk to freedom. Now, Comrade Kelvin, Melek Yari has reacted, to this order of his arrest, and he said, "Well, I don't know why they are ordering for my arrest, because there was due communication between me and the committee, and I did inform them about my medical trip abroad. So, why all of this?" Now, if you put all of this together, this is not the first time that we are looking for money in this country. And so, do you think that anything will come out of it as an activist, relying on experience of history?
I doubt if anything will come out of this, because the National Assembly they don't seem to be very firm in their decision making, and also going out. By the time money is passed through some individuals, this same issue will die down. We saw the subsidy money that time. They were asking somebody, how do you spend this money? And all of a sudden, it started conversing on audit. So in this same vein, if at the time of Fela Nicola Kukuti, when he said $2.8 billion was missing, and to date, the president, the head of state at that time, Buhari, could not account of that money. He also came in his regime also as civilian government. Money is missing. And even when President Tinubu will leave office also, they'll see money missing in this same NNPC. NNPC have become the highest fraud in this country, where they keep ripping us of our national asset. And that's why they said today they don't want the finance to even function. Because when it functions, they will not be able to siphon the money they are stealing from us. So I don't see anything coming out of it. Except the EFCC right to the ovation, right to Interpol, froze all accounts that belongs to Melek Yari. That's when it will come. Not saying he told the committee, it should come and appear. A clear conscience person accusation. If he knows he has not embezzled this money as alleged by the National Assembly, then he should come up for investigation and he should face the Vision Committee. But I bet you he won't come. The next thing, he will get some gullible lawyers to stand by him and start saying they are freedoms for the fundamental human rights action.
Well, unfortunately, he is on a medical trip, but we pray for his quick recovery so that he'll come and explain to Nigerians how we got missing 10 trillion naira, in our coffers.
Yeah, Mr. Goro, let me top up. Let me just top up this. Okay. You were asking who
should take responsibility.
Somebody said, "I am Buhari. Buhari is me. I literally took over from
myself."
Him. So, are you looking beyond that? Did I say anything more?
Okay.
But before we move on, there is a committee that handles NNPCL, that oversees the activities of NNPCL. Would these monies have gone, without the committee knowing about it? Shouldn't they also answer questions? The National Assembly Committee.
Yeah, you are reasoning like a rational human being. That is what it should be. That is what, because they have, or they had as at that time, oversight functions.
Exactly.
So, are they telling me that they did not do their oversight properly? If that is the argument, then there is dereliction of duty here. You understand? So, that some people are now, gearing up. So for this probe, suggests a lot of things, in the system. And for some people to have downplayed it in the past, also suggests a lot of things in the system. That is why we said that one major problem of this country is leadership, ability to take decisions, no matter whose horse is God, do the right thing, and every other thing will fall in place. Assuming that the Committee on Petroleum Resources were doing what they are supposed to do. Even if there are infractions, it will not get up to that level because it could have been nipped in the bud, as it were. So there is dereliction of duty here.
Dereliction of duty, indeed. Before we move on as well, let me go back to Mr. Ige. Okay, unfortunately, we lost connection to Ige. Okay, let me start with you now, because I think we have a bit of a network issue there. Now, we've seen a lot of probe tagged as political witch hunting. You know, a few of them have been tagged political witch hunting. At what point will this move away from genuine probing into expenditure, accountability issues, into political witch hunting, especially at the time? I mean, this is campaign season, and some people are saying, oh, these persons are aligned with a particular individual, and how do we separate the two now? Accountability process, proper accountability process, from political witch hunting.
I do not see political witch hunting here because it is the same political party that we're talking about here. The APC took over power in 2015 up until 2023 or thereabouts, and then they've continued, So who is politically witch hunting who? It's not a different political parties anyway.
But we know alignments are shifted.
But they're the same political party.
But alignments are shifted.
Doesn't really matter. What is a political party, by the way? It's an aggregate of people with a particular aim of achieving a result. So that is what it is. Their aim, like they have shown inevitably, is that they want to capture or sustain power. So if they are political witch hunting, intra-political witch hunting, it's for them. For Nigerians, we are looking at it from the perspective of a political party. So who is witch hunting who?
All right then. Okay. Well, let's move on to another conversation now. The Director General of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors and Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinma, on Wednesday, yesterday, said the party had recruited 4,421, 4,421,150 persons across the nation's 176,846 polling units as part of its mobilization plan ahead of the 2027 elections. Now, he expressed confidence that President Bola Tinubu's performance in office would earn him a second term in the 2027 general election. Uzodinma, who is also the governor of Imo State, made the disclosure in his keynote address at the two-day Renewed Hope Ambassadors National Retreat held at the Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, where he said the retreat was meant to build a unified grassroots mobilization machinery ahead of the 2027 general elections. According to him, the Renewed Hope Ambassadors now operate across 17 directorates, covering youth organization and mobilization, media and publicity, digital and new media, finance monitoring, compliance and legal, technology and data, support groups, intelligence, special duties, planning, welfare administration, women affairs, diaspora, and research and innovation. I mean, it's all covered right here. Well, he also announced that the Renewed Hope Ambassadors had unveiled a digital platform in April equipped with a data communication center to track public sentiments and counter misinformation in real time. It seems the APC is more ready than any other political party. Dele Fanimo, let me go to you now. I mean, they have it all covered. 4 million, over 4 million polling agents now.
You see, this is what is likened to what is called show of force in the military. When soldiers will just come, line the street, parade with their armor tanks and gun-toting men and officers to show anybody that has criminal intent, that we are ready, we are battle ready and all that. And it also shows that the power of incumbency is showing now. One, at least at the last count, APC has about 32 governors. And this cannot be done alone without the support of these governors. If they are deploying 4.4 million and there are less than a million, even less than how many police
Less
units
than
do we have?
200,000. We have 176,000.
76,000 polling units, and you are deploying 4 million. Maybe Chukuma is very good at arithmetic.
Yeah, but not in mathematics.
So on the average, you are deploying about 20 people
Per polling unit.
per polling unit. What are they going to do in this polling unit? Are they
That's
the
in
voters?
itself. Does that account to 4 million votes already for this administration?
No, the impression they are giving now is that these are people that will monitor voters. Is that not even intimidating enough for you to have 20 from one political party and you expect the other political parties that are also in the race? ADC is there, though we are not sure if they will be in the ballot. NDC is there. SDP is going to vie.
We have over 20 of them.
No, let's even assume that some of them had pledged not to
For the
run.
presidential, okay.
You know, we're talking about presidential election now. Now imagine if those ones also marshal like four people. Are there not even more than some people that will appear in the polling unit to vote? And yet you still have policemen, civil defense, and the rest. Then you have observers that are also allowed within the precinct of that polling unit. And the whole place is crowded.
The polling unit will apparently become a marketplace. Not of ideas, but probably a show of force. Like
that's what I said.
Now, Maz, let's look at it. Hope Uzodinma is a governor, sitting governor, and he's the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum. He said marshaled 4.4 million people, for polling units. Let us look at the bloodlines between legality, impunity, and illegality. Statistically speaking, only one agent is allowed in a polling unit. Didn't Hope consider this? And he's coming out to tell Nigerians, like, look, 4.4 million people marshaled, for 176, at best, 170,000, 177,000 polling units. That in itself is an illegality. How do you react to this development?
Yeah, before long, about 8 weeks or 9 weeks ago, this country was inundated with this 800 and something billion naira that the governors of a Progressive Governors Forum are talking about, being earmarked for the renew agenda, re-election, and what have you. So these are the ways some of these monies will be spent. Conservatively speaking, if you say, if one polling agent is paid 30,000, for instance, multiply it by 4.4 million, you are getting about 132 million naira. That is what it is on polling agents alone. Now, it is only government in power that can muster such financial muscles to be able to, get what they want. So when people are talking about intimidation, harassment, impunity, these are it. You don't need to look too far to say it. So having said that, a lot of other resources will have to be deployed amidst economic quagmire that this country is in. How can a right-thinking administration earmark over, I use 30,000 advisedly, earmark over 132 million naira just for a single item in the electoral process? It's only APC that can do that. And then the whole place will be crowded, just like we said. It will be like a market, and every person will be jostling for recognition and what have you. And, so I think the present dispensation is already, bulldozing their way. That is why they will readily tell you that there is no vacancy in Aso Rock when the election has not been held. Okay. It's only in Nigeria that you can make such a statement and people will clap for you.
All
In
right.
other designing societies, there is no way you can tell, citizens that there is no vacancy there. Are you going to decide it? What made you to think in that direction? You understand what I'm saying? So Nigeria is a comedy. If you want us to reduce it to that,
all right,
it's a comedy.
All right, Kelvin, let's have your take on this. Hope Uzodinma has said that President Tinubu's performance has guaranteed his re-election. So which special achievements do you think APC will be campaigning with or on in 2027? Kelvin?
Yes, it's laughable. Like we always say, talk is cheap. He said what he said because his principal is the one that foot his bills. So therefore, he can say whatever he wants to say. But he shouldn't forget that Nigerians are getting wiser each day. Political parties, they've learned the lessons from previous elections, and they will not sit down and look like business as usual. Everybody now knows what to do and what needs to be done. At the end of the day, he has just one PVC, and he can only cast just one vote for himself, even as a governor. So I think these are what we call mismanagement and misappropriation of public funds. Because I bet you this money is not coming from their private coffers. It's coming from their collective contributions from the Governors Forum. They'll be giving a budget. Some of them, they're even looking for, they are ready to even go as far as, you see some governors promising that will give the president 500 million votes and all of that, even when they know within themselves that they cannot even vote, they cannot move boast of 5 million votes or even 1 million votes in their states. But everybody's trying to boast to fall into the good book and the good calendar of the president. However, it is a wrong step in the wrong direction. There are more trivial issues that are bedeviling our country than looking for 20 persons to go and mount one polling unit. We still have children that have been kidnapped. We still have insecurity bedeviling our country. There's hunger. Families can't even do 2 square meals anymore. They are not even thinking of how to alleviate poverty. All their concern is in the next election. But God willing, the next election will come and go, and there's going to be a lot of dribbling. That what the order versus what they got might be the order of the day, because the masses are wiser and the masses will decide their fate. I tell everybody, get your PVCs, because enough of sitting down at home on election day and you're criticizing the government of the day. We all must be active, participate in governance to ensure our vote count. They can't kill us all. That's just it.
Kevin Ejimado, it's surprising how you sound, really. You sound like you're not in support of what's going on within the APC, but you work for the APC as well. How many votes has your Governor Oboriwori, promised the president in Delta State? Are you trying to achieve that? What exactly is how you don't seem pleased with what the APC is doing?
With all level of humility, I'm not working for the APC. I'm an activist. I was appointed by my governor to be an SSA to him on human rights.
So you're getting paid?
Within the scope of, yes, I'm getting paid. Sure, I'm getting paid
from
for my
the
job.
coffers of the APC.
Not because of the APC. I'm getting paid working as an SSA to the governor on human rights. Now, my governor can promise to give the president 1 million vote, 2 million vote, but it builds on the people, because the current state of Nigeria, no well-sane person will be happy with the way the country is being run. As I speak to you now, people are dying, people are starving, people don't even have hope of the next day to leverage on. So if I come on national TV and say all is well in Nigeria, that means I'm not being sincere. And as an activist who speak truth to power, devoid of whether or not you tell us tomorrow that, okay, because of what you said on national TV, resign or you have been sacked. Humanity persists. The struggle continues. Nigeria is not settled at the moment. Nigerians are not happy at the moment.
All right.
Home and abroad, we're facing a lot of humiliations.
All right, then.
They need to revamp the economy and reposition the country in the right trajectory.
All right, then. I must say, I have a renewed respect for you, actually, speaking truth to power, regardless of whether or not you're eating from that table. But that's that's a new one. You're eating from the table, and yeah. But anyway, thank you very much. Let's go to Ige now, Mr. Ige, Olaliko Ige. 4.4 million polling agents. Like the analysts in the studio have pointed to the fact that that will be overcrowding the 176 plus polling units that we have. What are your thoughts on this as we wrap up the conversation? We would like for you to unmute your device so we get your audio feed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Go right ahead.
I'm not bothered about what the governor of Imo State, said, mobilizing 4.4 million. That's not my worry. My worry are Nigerians who should come out on election day. Check the 2023 presidential election result. Less than 25% or thereabout, or less than 30% of over 80 million registered voters turned out to vote in 2023, meaning that a vast majority of Nigerians were not even bothered about voting in 2023. We should be worried. If at least 50 to 60% of Nigerians come out in 2027 to vote for presidential election, whatever figure the governor of Imo State is banding around is insignificant as far as I'm concerned. Let Nigerians come out on election day and vote. Assuming we have 40, 50 million Nigerians turning up to vote in 2027, what will 4 million people do? Nothing. I'm not bothered about it. It's expected that APC should mobilize. They should mobilize their members. That's what politics is all about. That is one of the core functions of a political party. Mobilize your members to come out on election day, participate in the electoral process. That's one of the core functions of a political party. So Opus Otima is within his bounds, within his right to say, look, we are mobilizing even 10 million registered APC members. No problem. As of today, there are close to 90 million registered voters in Nigeria. Just imagine if 60 million, turn up on election day and say, we want to vote for the candidates of our choice. Will anybody stop them? The answer is no. So we should be more worried about the vast majority of Nigerians who don't come out to vote on election day. That should be a major worry, not what Opus Odima is saying. That's insignificant as far as I'm concerned. Let Nigerians turn up. They will test our strength. Let people vote for whoever they like. At the end of the day, we'll count the ballot, and whoever fulfills the constitutional requirement should be sworn in as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Olaleko Ige, who joined us from Port Harcourt. We do appreciate you for your time and your contribution. We must also appreciate Kelvin Ejimudo, who joined us from Delta State. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We have Dele Fanimo and Mazi Amobi Ihegburu joining us from the studio here. Gentlemen, thank you for your thoughts and your contribution on the program. This is where we draw the curtains on Vop this morning, but newspaper review comes up next. I'm Moses Humphrey. I'll see you at 10.
I'm Jane Ogoye. Thank you for watching.
I'm Shukuma Okoro. Bye for now.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at Vop TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. Vop TV, Voice of the People Television.
Vop TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Children are among the most vulnerable members of society, and in today's rapidly changing world, many are exposed to bullying, abuse, peer pressure, and harmful influences at very tender ages. To mark this year's Children's Day celebration, the Edge Foundation, in collaboration with St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church, Lagos, organized a sensitization program aimed at educating, empowering children to speak up and stay safe. The program began with a Holy Mass held within the church premises before participants proceeded to the sensitization session. Centered on the theme Speak Up, building confidence against bullying, abuse, and peer pressure. The events brought together children, parents, church leaders, and safeguarding advocates in a collective effort towards child protection and awareness. Guest speaker Casimir, who spoke on the topic End Child Sexual Abuse, educated the children on the dangers of remaining silent in the face of abuse. According to him, abusers often use threats and fear to silence victims, making it important for children to understand the power of speaking up.
Every adult that is always exposed to children should study them and know the state of children. Yeah, some children, normally, they don't talk. Some talk. But at the point where you find those that they are kind of jovial, they always talk, at the point you find them where they cannot talk, they stay moody and all that, something has gone wrong. There is a need to call them and ask what is happening. Because of that, discover, and also call them to a private place, stop their appeal, and see, because sometimes when men and boys try to abuse the girl child, and when there's a resistance, there will always be a compelling impression, force apply, that there will be signs of interest and all that. When we see this, we know that it's not just that this child felt to be done and all that. And the best way to let them know, the best way to keep them off from all this, or to see it and say it, is always educate them, tell them about it. Just like because of that we are here today. Today's children, we are here telling them about it. In case somebody touch it this way, I need that. By God, it's very easy to notify it.
Using practical illustrations and demonstrations, the children were taught how to protect their private parts, avoid dangerous situations, and report suspicious behaviors through trusted channels. The sensitization also emphasized the see something, say something approach, encouraging children to report abuse, bullying, and criminal activities to parents, teachers, school counselors, and other trusted adults. Children were equally advised against following bad company, engaging in criminal activities, or keeping dangerous secrets from their parents. The interactive session featured questions, answers, and educational games with gifts and prizes presented to children who participated actively.
Tell us, what are the 4 things you're supposed to do if someone sexually harasses you? And I want you to speak up and look at the camera.
I will tell my parents. I will tell my counselor of my school. I will tell my teacher. I will tell the trusted adults.
Please put your hands.
What I learned from the topic is that when we see any sexual abuse, that we should always report to any trusted adult or anybody you trust or your parents that or a nearby police station. And what I like this is that the topic is that they teach me very well, and I learned something particular from there, how to end sexual abuse. Thank you.
This program today was, I would say, a very beautiful one because of it teaches us many things that if you're sexually abused, you have to run, say no, be able to be confident, be able to say no, run, tell the trusted adults, your parents. Don't hide things from your parents. Even when they give you something, you have to say no. You have to run away. Tell the trusted adults. If you cannot tell your parents, your teachers are there. Or you can tell someone which you know that yes, person will help you. We even have the safeguarding team in the church. You can tell one of them and will help you fight the case. And also, I won this prize for answering the question. I feel very happy today for winning this prize. I'll advise parents out there that they should try giving a listening ear to their parents. It's not everything that is work or money. Yes, that money can be there, but your children, you don't know what they are suffering out there. You should be able to give them a listening ear, be able to let them free talking to you. Thank you.
The Associate Parish Priest of St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church highlighted the critical role of faith-based institutions in raising morally sound and confident children.
Having seen what is happening in the world, the rate of abuse, and the lot of peer groups, the challenges, the negative aspect of it, I think it's really necessary for the church to cue in to save the children, secure their future, so that they will not experience also experiencing the trauma and the other things. The church needs also to keep in to create awareness so that they will be aware. Children who are, because most of the times those children, to those who are ignorant of some of all this is not going to, some of them fall victim of them. So having checked the experience of the past, the mistake of the past, so the church deemed necessary to us to keep me to create awareness and let children know when to speak up and when to take necessary actions to curtail this excess abuse.
The leadership of the Edge Foundation says the program was designed to equip children with life-saving information capable of protecting them from abuse and harmful societal influences.
So this initiative is the continuation of something that I've always had in mind since I was little. I decided to go up and a bit with, looking at what is happening around us. 6 out of 10 Nigerian children must have experienced child abuse of them cert before they turn 18. So you can imagine that statistic is quite high, right? 6 out of 10. So when you look at Nigeria as well, you see that Nigeria has the highest number of child marriage in West Africa. It took 3 million early marriage in Nigeria alone. 23 million is some countries' numbers. So imagine having 23 million children giving out in marriage. These are not the statistics. Behind all of these numbers are people's children.
Beyond the celebration, organizers say the program serves as a reminder that protecting children is a collective responsibility requiring constant education, awareness, and open communication. Throughout the event, the atmosphere remained lively and engaging as children learned, interacted, and left with lessons centered on courage, safety.
Indeed, Children's Day is not only a day to celebrate children, but it is also a time to listen to them, to protect them, and to empower them with the right information. From Lagos, I am Grace Peters for Voice of the People Television.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface. exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on Vop TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
DJ Ini is an artist whose music lives at the intersection of vulnerability, soul, and timeless African artistry. Raised on the warmth of his father's vinyl collection, he discovered early that music was more than sound. It was emotion, memory, and human connection.
Always trip for you. I tell them, say, now the way where you love me and show me you care for me. I want to show you, say, I no regret, say, I know you.
Blending urban music with soft rock textures, DJ Ini emerged as a rare artist whose presence feels calm, yet deeply affecting, masculine, yet emotionally open. He first captured hearts with the breakout hit Ego in 2005. Quickly establishing himself as one of Nigeria's most distinctive voices through records like Lade, I Know the Shame, and the genre blending over killing. His self-titled debut album, DJ Ini, alongside later releases including Wonder, Alright, and On Me, showcased an artist unafraid to evolve sonically while remaining emotionally authentic. In 2016, he returned to his acoustic roots, with shout-outs to My Lover, produced by Cobams Asokwo, a stripped-back, intimate record that reflected the emotional honesty as the core of his artistry. Behind the music and beyond the music, DJ Ini's journey has been shaped by profound personal experiences that's deepened his creative philosophy. Love, heartbreak, healing, and a near-fatal accident in 2018 transformed his songwriting into something spiritual and deeply human. Confronting mortality gave his music a renewed sense of purpose, one that is rooted in gratitude, emotional truth, and the belief that vulnerability is power. They're both about devotion, longing, sacrifice, and the search for peace in an increasingly disconnected world. Whether performing live or recording in the studio, DJ Ini creates music that feels less like spectacle and more like emotional refuge. After returning triumphantly with Find You in 2018, Stay in 2019, and fan favorites like Pamper You, DJ Ini unveiled his long-awaited sophomore album Black Maverick in 2023, a deeply personal body of work born from 13 years of growth, setbacks, and resilience, and of course, self-discovery. In November 2025, he released Rescue You, the first single from his forthcoming third album, an ethnic Nigerian ballad that further cemented his reputation as one of Nigeria's and Africa's most enchanting and emotionally resonant voices. With a sound that balances modern sophistication and timeless sincerity, DJ Ini continues to create soul-stirring music for people searching for something real. Music that reminds listeners that love is spiritual, tenderness is strength, and human connection still matters.
If I die now, I go happy, say when I did this world, I don't fall in love. Which one you dare, where you dare treat me.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
This is African News on Voice of the People television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People television. Stay with us.
Nutrition experts are emphasizing the importance of healthy eating in preventing disease and improving overall well-being. At an event marking World Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day in Lagos, stakeholders highlighted the role of balanced diets, proper portion control, and reduced consumption of processed foods in tackling rising cases of lifestyle-related illnesses. They say nutrition also plays a key role in energy levels, cognitive development, and productivity.
Is when you get your diet right, you are physically and mentally alert, which you know that eating healthy is one of the master key of good health. Down to the hospital setting, they come in as clients. We have those on admission across board, from cradle to geriatric, which is the elderly people. So from the pregnant woman, for your child, for you to be healthy and the child to be healthy, and you come out having a bouncing and beautiful or handsome baby, you need the touch of a dietitian. That is in terms of a promotion of good health.
Experts also stress the need for greater awareness and the integration of dietitians in healthcare institutions across the country.
We need to improve on our policy. We need to improve on our policy. We need to make sure that food is one of the highest allocation is given to food in the policy. 1, 2, during the policy for nutrition, nutritionists, dietitians should be included in this policy making table, because we are the ones that actually knows where the feet is pinching. We are with the grassroots. We know them. We see them. They come to us. Some of them, we know the reasons why some of this thing is happening. So with this, we can actually tackle this thing. The second thing is that we need to train more of nutritionists and dietitians in Nigeria.
They add that promoting healthier food choices remains essential to building a healthier population.
And the message we have out there is that nutrition is the bedrock of healthy living. If we talk about people being healthy to go about their businesses and being away from disease, out of disease, you have to make your nutrition a top priority in your life. So when you get the nutrition right, it takes care of every health condition as well as healthy living.
With the growing concerns of lifestyle-related illnesses in Nigeria, the conversation is drawn towards the role of nutrition in our everyday lives and everyday habits as well. For many, the conversation is really about awareness and better living. I'm Prince Peters from Voice of the People television.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on Vop Tv as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
This is Ebuka Obi Uchendu, the man who turned hosting into an art form. Born on the 14th of August 1982 in Benin City, Ebuka grew up between Nigeria and the UK before returning home for university. He studied law at the University of Abuja and the Nigerian Law School, but his path would take a different turn. Nigerians first met Ebuka in 2006 as a housemate on the first season of the Big Brother Nigeria. He didn't win, but he won something bigger. Attention. Articulate, composed, and unshaken under pressure, he stood out in a house full of noise. After BBN, Ebuka didn't chase fame for fame's sake. He built a brand. He started hosting TV shows, red carpet events, and panel discussions. His style was different, refined, intellectual, but still relatable. Then in 2017, MultiChoice brought him back as the host of Big Brother Nigeria, and that was the turning point. Week after week, Ebuka sat on that stage dressed like he was going to a board meeting and dissected housemates with calm authority. He became the voice of the show, the one viewers trusted to ask the hard questions. Today, he's hosted over 7 seasons of the BB Nigeria. No other host in Africa has matched that run. But Ebuka is more than a host. He's a style icon. His Sunday best looks during BBN became a cultural moment on their own. Designers fought for him to wear that pieces. Young Nigerians studied his outfits like it was a fashion class. He proved that Nigerian men could be fashionable, bold, and elegant without losing masculinity. Off-screen, he is a husband and father, married to Cynthia Obianodo since 2016. He keeps his private life private, and that discipline has only added to his appeal.
You are not even influencer again. Bros, the small work we manage. You don't want you just want to enter Nollywood.
Bros, like, listen, you cannot define the path that you're going to take. You just got to go with the flow and make the best of it.
Yeah, okay.
That's how we roll.
We'll tap into the grace.
He can be funny without being crude, stand without being rude. He reads the room, controls the narrative, and keeps millions of viewers hooked. He's also hosted other major events like the AMVCA, The Voice Nigeria, and corporate summits. Whether it's entertainment or business, Ebuka brings the same energy, prepared, professional, and present. In an industry where trends changes fast, Ebuka has stayed relevant for nearly 2 decades. He represents a new Nigerian elite, educated, stylish, media savvy, and globally aware. Young presenters look up to him, brands want him, and viewers, they tune in just to see what he will wear and what he will say next. Ebuka Obi Uchendu, style, substance, and a stage see no shore.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on Vop TV. Entertainment like never before. you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Food remains one of the most powerful tools in maintaining health and preventing disease. As the commemoration of World Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day, nutrition experts and healthcare professionals are drawing attention to the role of proper nutrition in improving the quality of life. The event, themed Discover the Power of Nutrition, highlights how food choices can influence lifespan, productivity, and overall well-being. Speakers note that balanced diets that include fruits, vegetables, adequate water intake, and controlled portions can help reduce the risk of several health conditions. They warn that unhealthy eating habits and excessive consumption of processed foods continue to contribute to a growing number of non-communicable diseases, including obesity, cardiovascular disease, and hypertension.
Is when you get your diet right, you are physically and mentally alert, which you know that eating healthy is one of the master key of good health. Down to the hospital setting, they come in as clients. We have those on admission across board, from cradle to geriatric, which is the elderly people. So from the pregnant woman, for your child, for you to be healthy and the child to be healthy, and you come out having a bouncing and beautiful or handsome baby, you need the touch of a dietitian. That is in terms of a promotion of good health.
Experts also emphasize the important role dietitians play within the healthcare system, particularly in providing specialized nutritional care for patients who are unable to feed normally.
We need to improve on our policy. We need to improve on our policy. We need to make sure that food is one of the highest allocation is given to food in the policy. 1, 2, during the policy for nutrition, nutritionists, dietitians should be included in this policy making table, because we are the ones that actually knows where the feet is pinching. We are with the grassroots. We know them. We see them. They come to us. Some of them, we know the reasons why some of this thing is happening. So with this, we can actually tackle this thing. The second thing is that we need to train more of nutritionists and dietitians in Nigeria.
Beyond hospitals, nutrition advocates say that raising awareness about healthy eating habits remains key to building a healthier population. They add that schools, institutions, and communities must work together to promote better nutrition practices.
And the message we have out there is that nutrition is the bedrock of healthy living. If we talk about people being healthy to go about their businesses and being away from disease, out of disease, you have to make your nutrition a top priority in your life. So when you get the nutrition right, it takes care of every health condition as well as healthy living.
For organizers of the event, The goal is to encourage greater recognition of the role institution and nutrition plays in everyday health and national development.
Just like the way they normally say that information is power. So we want to empower people all on the aspect of malnutrition. When I say malnutrition, we have undernutrition, we have overnutrition. And when we talk about malnutrition too, some can resort to health challenges. You understand? And even excessive to overnutrition resort to health challenges. When we talk about malnutrition, many of us, our understanding is about the children, it's about the toddlers. Fine, they have it on the side. We have that challenges, and we want them to get information. If they are rightfully fed, if they are adequately fed, they will see every child is not expected to sleep in an hospital. If it is not a kind of a epidemic kind of situation that is happening, every child should stay at home, come for hospital for just checkup or immunization, and go back home and live healthy. So, but for the adults too, you discover a lot of adult-related health challenges. They are diet-related challenges. We want to talk about hypertension. We want to talk about diabetes. We want to talk about obesity. We want to talk about renal-related. Renal-related condition. You know, when we say renal, we have acute, chronic till you get to the end stage. Depending, it's about liver cirrhosis or fatty liver or disease, or even alcoholic fatty liver. So a lot of health challenges that people are having. If we want to talk about the common in our client, which is malaria, it is hemolysis that the red blood cell is being destroyed, and we have a nutritional anemia, and we have anemia on its own too. And one of the things you see many people after treating malaria, they say they need a blood tonic too. So a lot of things that this program we address. If Nigeria embrace this profession, if Nigeria put this profession in the appropriate place, put us where we belong, encourage us, we are ready to give out our best. And we have people, we have professors, we have doctors, we have professionals that are practicing day in and day out, that have current knowledge about what is happening. But if the environment does not encourage, then and you are unnecessarily overworked, you are unnecessarily short-staffed, then you become weary, because how will you? Knowledge is not static. You need to be improving in knowledge every now and then. So what this program is the message trying to pass across is that individual can actually live healthy, and those that are having health challenges too can also maintain it. If it is uncurable one, if it is the one that they need to manage, they can also live healthy with the knowledge of nutrition gotten from the appropriate quarters, from the expert, because it is like a medicine. You need to review, you need to come for follow-up, we need to make assessment. It is not a one-time thing. So, and it's not surgery. And if it's not surgery too, you have to come for follow-up to for the site, for the operation that has been carried out, for the surgeon to ensure that everything is working out fine. And for it to working out fine too, nutrition is needed, because the wound will still need to be healed. Then you need a vitamin C, you understand, you need a protein, replenishment of tissues, and then you need adequate iron supply, so that everything will go. You need a vitamin A for the epithelial tissue, for everything to work effectively. So that is what we are here, and that is the message we are passing out. And on the topic, discover the power of nutrition, I'm so much interested in this year program, because it has a very powerful theme, and we want the world to know about it.
Participants were also taken through simple physical exercises, highlighting the importance of combining good nutrition with active living for improved health outcomes.
All over the world, every dietitian is celebrating this month as our month where we create more awareness about the goodness of nutrition, right? The goodness of food. Everyone you see here, majority of people you see here are professionals of nutrition and dietetics, where the group that have been equipped with the knowledge of passing right nutrition information to the people of the world, right? So here today, we want people to know that there's power in nutrition. We want people to know that with good food, you can prevent illness. It's not just about eating, it's about eating smart, eating right, and eating well, so that you can be able to achieve the maximum nutrients benefits from the foods that you are consuming.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
In a world where power shifts with every headline,
In a nation full of questions,
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
I am not saying you are a poor man. It is not even implied in my statement. But I'm saying that you deserve more than you already are.
Daddy, please.
I have transformed from a mere mortal to a god.
In the heart of Nigeria's film industry, there is one voice that commands silence the moment it speaks. One presence that turns every scene into a masterclass. That name is Pete Edochie. Born on the 7th of March 1947 in Enugu State, Pete Edochie didn't start in Nollywood. He started in broadcasting.
Igirigi has only one wife and he doesn't even have a son to succeed him. No, I will not allow this.
After studying history and English in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, he joined the Eastern Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation in the 1960s. Radio was his first stage. Television soon followed. But it was in 1987 that Nigeria met the Pete Edochie they would never forget. As a conqueror in the NTA adaptation of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, he didn't just act the role, he became it. Fierce, proud, unyielding. That performance etched his name into the memory of a nation. From that moment, Pete Edochie became Nollywood's go-to man for royalty, elders, and authority figures. He is the king, the chief, the priest, the disciplinarian. Whether in living in bondage, Lionheart, Things Fall Apart, or the gods are still not to blame, he brings a gravity that few can match. His secret is culture.
You don't have to apologize, my son. It is because you did not want to know, nor do you want to understand.
We shall not tolerate vermin on our land.
Yes.
I am leaving this one alive, so he can tell the world what happened to others. shut up.